Legend of War here, and today we've got a rating your Doomstack video. So we've got here a cavalry-based Doomstack, which are some of my least favorite to get. However, I have previously said that Bretonnian cavalry is the best in the game, and we're playing as Bretonia. So we've got the Fey Enchantress, the Green Knight, a Paladin, a Heaven's Wizard, and a whole bunch of Grail Guardians, and one Blessed Field Trebuchet. I mentioned the Field Trebuchet is just there for siege attacker. And we're going up against, like, an absurd amount of force. There's actually 4 armies here. So Grimgor's army is a little bit damaged, but there's a fresh reinforcing army, and both of them have war forces. So there's going to be a lot coming in at us. Now, I would normally say go up against something stronger, but he's gone up against 4 armies. And if he's going to get bounce of power like this, then this is pretty viable auto-resolve stack. I still think we'll take a lot of damage in the auto-resolve, though. So we'll fight it manually, and we'll see how they go. Now, the big thing about this, and this kind of stuff is taken into consideration for Doomstacks, is that this is not a good siege army. Now, the thing is with Bretonia, though, that doesn't matter so much since they don't have supply lines. What you can do is have a cavalry army go around and basically clear out all field armies. And then you have a peasant army with like a ton of artillery and archers, which is protected by the cavalry army, just go in and do the siege by itself. Without needing, well, you can have the cavalry reinforced just for bounce power, I suppose, but the bulk of the sieging is done by that, so that can work and does work quite well. It's largely just due to supply lines. You really get a feel for how much supply lines cripples other factions when you play as Bretonia, because you can just field so many armies and it just doesn't matter if some of them are like really crap stacks and some of them are doom stacks, just because they're not affected by each other. Alright, so this is on very hard battle difficulty, right? Yeah, okay. Alright. So what we want to do here, it's not bad to have a field trebuchet in your army and a cavalry army. If you do this, you have to make sure you never get caught in force march, because you need to be able to withdraw the trebuchets when things get crazy, because your main strength in a cavalry-based Doomstack is your speed, and you can't possibly utilize your speed if you're holding a defensive position. So we start with a defensive position, let the field trebuchets do some damage, and then just withdraw them from the battlefield. Doesn't matter if they've only used up a quarter of their ammo, but we need to utilize our speed here. Anybody that's too slow, just get them off the battlefield. Oh, is that Henry the Massive? Okay. Loaded and ready. So, get them as far back here as possible. Let them do some damage, just thin them out a little bit, and then just get them off the battlefield. Now, another downside of doing this is that by removing them from the battlefield, we are losing a little bit of bounce of power, which makes it a little bit more difficult to inflict the army loss penalty. Like I said, it is better if you have a supporting army, you know, walk behind your army. The big downside to doing that, though, is if you're fighting Skaven, that army can be ambushed, so you gotta be very careful with it. But up against the greenskins, you're not gonna have any trouble. They very rarely get lightning strike. Big downside to fighting 2 armies is, of course, it makes it very difficult to maneuver around them. However, this is a relatively big map, so we should be okay here. But what we want to be doing with the cavalry Doomstack is splitting them up into 2 groups to begin with, so that the enemy split up into 2 groups. Why are we getting shot? Was that... Did someone use... Oh, right, they've got artillery of their own. Another thing with this is that we do have a lot of resistances. So they've essentially got 38% of all resistances there, which is alright, but resistances really start to become good once you enter above 50%. So, because every percentage above 50% is worth twice as much as like 1, 2, or 3%, if that makes sense. So, no problem with fighting them, we just gotta try to get... You know what, why don't we send Henry to go sort that out? Ready for battle! Alright, all good so far. Oh, just let the field trebuchets just thin them out a little bit. I'm probably gonna have to withdraw them fairly early. I could go over there to try to protect them, but honestly, it's not worth doing that. Yeah, with a cavalry-based army, no matter what type of cavalry army you've got, on very hard battle difficulty, you really never want to just YOLO into the enemy army unless it's really weak, which it isn't in this case here. Like if it's all just archers, which the AI rarely does that. Because cavalry do not perform well on the higher battle difficulties. They're really quite significantly debuffed. So what you want to be utilizing is your speed. And one of the things that makes a good cavalry Doomstack is high speed. And these guys were here with 85 speed. That's really good. I'm not going to be able to catch them, but they're not going to do much damage to me either, so I don't really need to worry too much. Okay, no problem fighting these Orc Boar Boys if they're away from the rest of their army. So their speed, yeah, no, we won't catch them. Alright, well they're not going after the Blessed Field Trebuchets, so we don't have to do anything about that. So these guys here appear to have been caught in forced march. That's it. Prioritize taking out all their fast units first. Once all their fast units are gone, you have a really big advantage. So yeah, there's an order to which you want to be taking out units. Top priority needs to be artillery. Second priority, cavalry. Third priority, short-range missile units, such as archers. And then at the very, very bottom is melee infantry. Go after the melee infantry after everything else has been killed. Okay, cool. Reinforcements are coming in here. We'll just go charge in and kill them. Of course, if you can manage to get a free shot on something that's lower on the priority, go for it. Now, I actually think that Grail Knights are better than Grail Guardians. Even though Grail Guardians are perhaps better all-rounders, what I really look for in good quality cavalry is the bonus versus large. That gives them the ability to defeat other cavalry. And don't underestimate the power of bonus versus large. It's very good. Because what it does, cavalry normally have a fairly low melee attack, so if they've got 10 to 20 points in bonus versus large, that transfers over to melee attack, you know, only versus large units. Allows them to kill them really quickly. We gotta get out of here really soon. Oh shit, I didn't even see them coming, just leave. Didn't even need them in the first place, like I said, they're kind of a liability. Wasn't going to hold a defensive position to protect them. Alright, now I don't have to worry about them anymore. Oh, they came back? Okay. Okay, move over to here. And just look for favorable engagements. If you split your forces up, the AI will separate their troops. They won't keep their army together. Especially if the balance of power is in their favor. They get overconfident. Use that overconfidence as a weakness. If you have the speed advantage, you do not need to engage with them on unfavorable terms. Alright, that one's gone. And the great thing about Grail Knights or Grail Guardians are perfect vigor. So I can run around all day, not get tired. Alright, how much wins do we have? 262, that's pretty damn good. Alright, let's start using some magic. Dwellers below for 11 wins sounds good. Now what I'll do here is have Henry get them to blob up. To send him in, he should be able to pull out relatively easily. And, oh, she got regen. Maybe she's defeated Isabella. Could also use Chain Lightning, but I'm actually more favorable towards Dwellers Below these days. Try to pull up as many of them as possible. Chuck down a nice big damaging spell. Enchantress is actually pretty good at doing damage as well, as long as you can get her out, because she's like a mortis engine. Fortunately, they're not really paying that much attention to Henry there. Actually, just keep him there, keep him there. We don't need him to. Just stay right there, tank that, get rid of these archers. Oh, they're moving out of the fucking way. So utilize magic first to thin them out. This is pretty standard. This is a good map for us, this one. Nice and flat. Very few obstructions, very few trees to get in the way. So good. Yep, just keep them out of it for now. But yeah, we got so much magic that it's very easy just to heal him after all this damage is being done. How does he have experience? I've seen that happen before, but yeah, he's got, I think, what's that, 7 tiers of experience? Yeah, she can stay in the combat. She's got regen and she's a mortis engine, so let her do her thing. You don't want to overcast this. The overcast bonus is shit for Dwellers Below. Good, only 11-second cooldown, so she's already dished out tons of damage. Henry's a bit damaged, but he's okay. Overcasting gets you a better return on investment of the Winds of Magic. Just at the cost of a chance of miscast, that's all. To get back around here, just avoid them for the time being. We don't need to engage with them right now. We've got a good thing going over here. Let's make use of it. So I think the auto-resolve bounce of power was a little bit generous to us. It's okay, we're managing. Okay, she's starting to take a lot of damage now. I gotta get her out of here. I just gotta get her out. Good. She'll be able to regen to full. Like I said, it's okay to keep her in combat a little bit. But once she's starting to take damage, try to get her out. Okay, once again, we can sit at their reinforcement zone and annihilate them, just because the bulk of their forces are elsewhere right now. Okay, with fast units coming in, it would be good if we're sitting here, especially the missile units as well. Sitting here ready to smash them as soon as they come in. Good. Goblins don't have bonus versus large, so we don't have to worry about them too much. Alright, let's give them a shield of thorns, because it would be good if we take less damage against them. Could also Curse of the Midnight Wind them. We're okay for now. Don't have a lot of magic just yet, so this is saves them up. Good, and these guys here massively lagging behind. As a general rule of thumb, and this should be bloody obvious, but you should never send your forces up against superior numbers if you can avoid it. If you can divide the enemy, I mean that's the military maxim, divide and conquer. Get them to split their forces up and then smash them. This is where the Grail Knights would have been better, getting rid of Arachnarok spiders and giants. We're probably going to need a Curse of the Midnight Wind them. But yeah, as their reinforcements come in, just get rid of them. Because it's totally fine to take on a giant on its own, but when it's surrounded by infantry, that's really the best time for them. And this is on very hard battle difficulty modifier 10, so they're getting smashed here, getting them off the battlefield. And since they're on force march, good, yeah, just get them out of here. This one is taking a beating. Lava Arachnaroks. That's bad. Essentially a Mortis engine. We need to get rid of that quickly. Yeah, just get that one off the battlefield. Because we don't want to be taking this any longer than we need to. The main thing that's causing them to rout is faster, stronger enemies nearby. This is better than flanking bonuses, right? When you charge into the rear of a unit, you might inflict -10 leadership. But if you dump a lot of troops all on one unit, you can get up to like -26 for faster, stronger enemies nearby. So that's really good for breaking them. You can even break them on legendary difficulty. God damn it, this guy here will not go. Good, that's it. Just get them off the battlefield. Some of their strongest units. Okay, Giant's almost dead. Is that the last of their reinforcements? Seems like it. Alright, good. Don't need to have a rest because we're not towed. That does appear to be the last of their reinforcements. There's nothing else coming in. Alright, now what I want to do is just wrap them up. So what we're going to do here is attack one of their flanks. Don't attack them in the center, don't attack them on both flanks. Just attack them on one flank. I used to do this a lot in Rome Total War. Because what you end up doing is these units over here aren't fighting. You throw so much force over here that you basically break them, and then you just keep rolling them up that way. Actually, I don't know if that's going to work too much in Warhammer 2. It works wonders in Rome 1 and Medieval 2, where leadership or morale really matters.
With haste.
But we'll see.
Ever ready.
So use all of your force to attack their weak force, and their strongest force is just left out to not fight. again, another type of divide and conquer.
With haste!
Problem with cavalry though is they can get bogged down. So if this doesn't break this really quickly, then we could be in trouble. But we could use Henry here to just keep them back a little bit longer.
Ready for battle. I call thee. Send them below.
For Britannia! Come, peasants! Fight for your lords!
Grimgor's there, he's gonna... Oh, for fuck's sake, that's still active. Even though the unit left the battlefield. That means the units that have that are gonna take excessive damage. I need to pull back, and anybody that's got that needs to be withdrawn from the battlefield, including Henry. Well, Henry can stay a little bit longer, because at least he can heal.
Glory awaits!
God damn, I wish they'd get rid of that bug. It's a bug, because it applies a lot with the...
My gifts are yours.
Arachnaroks. So what ended up happening is the debuff, the damage debuff that's been applied from the Lava Arachnarok, even though it's left the battlefield, is stuck on these units, and there's no way for us to get it off now unless they bring in another Lava Arachnarok. And what's going to happen here, the longer the battle goes on, actually the battle's almost over, why don't we just try to push for a big win?
I am your man! Yes!
As quickly as possible, so that the battle's over. I need magic.
Take the ground!
I am the day.
Let's push in for a big win.
Swiftly!
Henry needs to leave now. He's used up all of his healing. Army losses should be just around the corner. So if the battle was going to go on a lot longer, I probably would withdraw any afflicted units. So if we have a look here, this one here is affected. And there's the army losses. It'll still go on while we're running them down, but most of these guys are on forced march anyway, so best just end the battle as quickly as possible. Plus, since we do have life magic, I guess we can technically heal them. So Grimgor here appears to be unbreakable. That's going to be a pain.
I serve the lady! I stand ready.
Fey Enchantress. Benui, Orion, Benui.
Smite them!
Okay. Well, since the army loss penalty has been inflicted, just get him off the battlefield. Because, yeah, he's just going to keep taking damage there at 2 every second. Same thing with a bunch... Okay, we need to find out which of them have it, and I need to get them off.
What do you be?
Shouldn't be that many. That one's got it.
Guardians!
Funnily enough, it's the most damaged units. Who would have thought? Okay, just get them out of here.
As you say!
Maybe give them a bit of a heal first, actually. We've still got some wins.
Winds of magic, rise.
That way they can stay on here just a little bit longer.
Show us the bow!
Use this. Yeah, use it now, it's fine.
Feel true power.
Green light.
Oops.
Set them below.
Grimgor's not going to want to go down. Okay, just get him out of here.
To the sweet. At once!
Nobody else has it, right? No, it's just those 3. Good thing we weren't all blobbed up against it. It's not going to make any difference now that the balance of power has been decided. Okay, just get them off. We don't need them to take out Grimgor. But very, very annoying bug. Good thing it wasn't a longer battle.
I shall burn.
Luckily, none of them have died yet from it, I think.
Enchantress.
So, if that debuff is applied, one way to, as in the bug has afflicted you, one way to get rid of it is... Oh, hang on, somebody's... Oh, the Green Knight's got it as well. Okay, well, just fight a little bit more there and I'll get you off. One way to cancel it off is if you can have it applied naturally again. So, for example, they've got this permanent debuff. If there was another Lava or Ragnarok, go into melee with it and then pull away from it and it'll debuff it. It'll get rid of it. Okay, time to get him out of here. Quickly. Alright, just get him off the battlefield. See, he's constantly affected by it. Alright, looks like I just need to get the Grail Guardians to sort this out now. Is he regenerating? Yeah, he's got Seed of Rebirth. Okay. It's alright, they're winning. So, heroic victory, that means that the auto-resolver, like the bounce power actually wasn't in our favor, but the auto-resolver was still going to give us a win anyway, because even though technically their units in combined were stronger than us, I guess they just are inferior to our Grail Guardians by such a large degree. Now, in terms of rating this kind of Doomstack, it's very hard to justify any cavalry army as a Doomstack just because of all the limitations and problems that they will encounter, which other Doomstacks will just not have to worry about, such as being really bad in sieges. So, if this army here was to do a siege, you would have to rely very heavily on the magic and the heroes, and only have these guys here deliver the final blow, because you're not going to create that many breaches with one Blessed Field Trebuchet. So, these guys really work well when charging into a unit, and it's just really difficult to charge into a breach and do a lot of damage that way. So having another army stand behind it to do the sieges would be better, which means you don't actually need the Blessed Field Trebuchet in here. Just have this one go around taking out field armies. You can totally justify doing that in a Bretonnia campaign, no problem. So I don't think it's been designed perfectly well. Green Knight's temporary, so eventually he'll go away. And then, of course, you can keep summoning him, but once every so often. So, let's see. In rating this, good magic, we've got no problems with that. What trait do you have on this? Yeah, that's fine. I'd probably rate this 8 out of 10, which is pretty high for a cavalry Doomstack. It's really not going to get any stronger than this. I do think that Grail Knights are actually better than Grail Guardians for campaign, just because they're able to get rid of enemy cavalry so quickly. And once you get rid of all the fast units, all their infantry can be picked apart quite easily. But Grail Guardians are better against infantry, but like I said, they're not as good at dealing with the more difficult stuff, which is why I usually go Grail Knights over Grail Guardians. Again, don't need the artillery, so it's about as good as a cavalry army can get. I mean, 38% ward save, because you got the Blessing of the Lady as well. That's pretty good. We didn't really take any damage apart from the Lava or Ragnarok spell, and then whatever damage we took to Grimgorn. Your army's in excellent shape, and it took out nearly 4 full stacks, so it's really, really good. They weren't the best stacks ever. There's definitely stronger enemies to go up against. Like, go up against the High Elves and get similar results. I don't think so. But it probably can handle a High Elf army if you do it correctly. It's also restricted based on the map. If you go up in a choke point map, sometimes that can be a bit of a problem. Smaller battle maps, because the battle map that we fought in was one of the bigger ones. But if there's ones that are like half that size, those ones will be a really big problem if there's a lot of enemy units. You just won't be able to maneuver around. If there's a lot of missile units that could shred you, that could also be a problem. So there's just a lot of things that cavalry army can run into problem with. But I think 8 out of 10 is fair. Let me know your thoughts on this cavalry-based Doomstack. But I think my job here is done. Appreciate all the support, and I'll see you guys next time, fuckers.